So we're on? Okay, very good. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to my stream. I'm Pierre, your host. I hope you're all doing well. I was just cleaning up a few palettes, scraping off the old paint, and didn't see the time go by. So anyways, I hope you're all doing okay. So let's start off our day. Let's go over to the computer. Let's check out very quickly what we did yesterday, and then let's tackle our day from there. So what did we do yesterday? Well, yesterday we basically, yes, we did a bunch of lines again, all around our frame with that light cerulean blue. We added a few stars to the background of our guy. And then finally, we put the first coat down to the stars, which we're going to work on today, as we are going to add some yellow paint on top of that white, just so that the color are more vibrant and they stick out more. So let's do that. After that, we'll probably add the first coat of some sperms that will go on either side. For those of you who know my painting, there's always sperms in my paintings. And so let's continue with that tradition, if you will. So let's get our yellow paint, and I'm going to use this, what is it? Every brand has, it's the same yellow, but they all have different names. I usually go with Azo Yellow, and this one is Azo Yellow Medium. So there we go. So let's grab a palette. Here's a palette with some of that Azo Yellow on it. I'm just going to very quickly scrape off the older paint. Get rid of that so we have a nice clean palette. We don't want any of these little chips to get mixed in with our new fresh paint from today. Fresh like our clothes. All clean. Smells good. My hair too. Washed my hair, took a shower, shaved. Anyways, feeling mighty clean and smelling it as well. So let's get down and put down some of this yellow paint, which is, wow, pretty liquid. I guess we're not going to have to add too much water to this, because we do want to keep it as opaque as possible. Might have to put 2 coats on, usually do. But anyways, where's our paintbrushes? Here we go. Let's find the right one. We're going to use the exact same one that we put the white paint down yesterday. And I'll just wet this just a little bit and work this Azo Yellow. I want it to stay nice and thick. But at the same time, I do want it to basically spread well on the canvas. So just add a tad, teensy-weensy little bit of water. And that looks pretty good right there. It's still very thick, but I think I should be able to control it. So let's just wipe off the brush a little bit. And I'm going to bring over camera number 1 a little bit closer, so that we can follow more closely what we're going to do. So I'm going to start on this upper left-hand corner, which is usually where I always start on my painting. Since I'm right-handed, I always start in that upper left-hand corner, just so when I'm working my way down, I don't put my hand in the fresh paint. So that said, let me just get a little bit of paint on my brush before we go to camera number 1 and tackle our day. So let's do that right now. So I hear there's a construction work going in the street there. I can hear the jackhammer. I'm not sure if you can hear it through the microphone or not. Now I know there's a setting, you can put what they call a noise gate on your microphone, which means that you basically just hear what the person on the microphone is saying, and it cuts off all the rest. But I don't do that for the simple reason that I kind of enjoy hearing what's going on in the streets. I mean, the whole purpose of the stream is to show exactly what goes on in the studio, and that includes dogs barking and people yelling and jackhammers jacking away. So if you do hear that noise, it's kind of on purpose. Oops. And it doesn't really bother, I don't think. I was listening to Michael Moore's podcast this morning, and you could hear ambulances or police cars in the background whining away. And to be honest, it didn't bother me that much. Actually made me miss the States a little bit, being here in France. So let's go back down on this baby right here. I'm going to move the camera just over a little bit and zoom in on this. It will help me for the editing of my little recap for tomorrow. Just like that. There we go. And let's move on to the other side. Then I guess I'll grab my chair. And I guess I'll zoom in on this one as well. It's good to have the little choice. Take the better of the two shots. There we go. Starlight, star bright. And let's move the camera back over here. Let's go on down all the way to the bottom like that. And I shall grab my chair, bring it over. There we go. Just like that. Maybe wipe off the excess paint from my brush. There we go. And let's go back to camera number 1. Camera number 1, camera number 2. I should give these cameras names. But then again, I probably would forget them and screw them up every time. There we go. Let's just move over a little bit this away. I guess I can bring the camera over a little bit as well. Should I zoom in a whisker? Why not? So I'm going to have to organize my studio because I can feel summer heat coming on, which means I'm going to be able to bring out my fan to help this paint dry faster. Problem is that I have 3 tripods, 4 cameras going on in the studio with like tons and miles of wires all over the place. So I'm going to have to figure out really how to handle all this. But we've done it in the past, so I'm sure I'll figure it out. Been waiting all winter time to bring out the old fan. I'd rather be too hot than too cold. So let's not get sloppy here. There we go. So, very good, we took care of that. Okay, so let's bring the camera back out here and aim it up in that upper left-hand corner, which is where, well, maybe not right away. I do have to make my light turquoise green paint. And for that, I think I'll do it on camera number 1, the mixing together. So we can do that in a few seconds. First, let's grab this little palette. Just cleaning it off a little bit. In the summertime, this paint just peels off so nicely as well. And it's nothing more than just plastic. When you think about it, pigments in some sort of a polymer emulsion, when you come out with something that looks like this, it's just like plastic. You can bend it and twist it. And this is on pretty thick. I guess I must have had at least 4 or 5 coats of different color paints on this palette. And anyways, pretty amazing stuff. So let's get the turquoise green out. Let's get my knife. And a little bit of the turquoise green. And then we're going to get the white paint because I want it to be new. I'll use this color for the shadowing, but first we're going to do the background, which is going to be a light turquoise green, very similar to what we have here on our plants. There we go. And the white paint as well. Getting to the bottom of my jar here, which is no big deal because I have tons more. So I just want to make sure I have enough. I really don't have, if you add all the sperms together, I probably only have 1 square foot worth of painting to do. So I probably made too much paint right there, but who cares? I try not to waste anything because, man, when you see the price of materials in the art world, well, and you take in consideration that 99% of all artists are totally broke, it's kind of expensive. So, put that baby to rest. And I'm going to grab a larger brush just to mix the two colors together. Like maybe, does it matter, this brush right here. And I'm going to go over to camera number 1 where we will mix all this together. Come over here, my guide, and let's come on down. There we go. I have a jar of water right there. So we have the white, we have the turquoise green. And let's just blend this in and see what kind of a beautiful color we can come up with. So I'm not going to use all the turquoise. There, let's start off with this. I'll move it over to the side a little bit. And let's mix this in. If it's too light, we'll just add a little more. Now, am I going to have to put 2 coats of this? I have no idea. But I can see it's getting very light, so I am right away going to add some more before we get it all to be one homogeneous color. I'm going to add more water because it's really very thick. It is light. Maybe I should add just a little bit more of the turquoise green. Just like that. Let's blend it all in. And then I'm going to have to find the right paintbrush. So this looks pretty good. The color looks right. Like I say, I might have to put a second coat on tomorrow. I am not sure how well this covers because I'm not used to using this color in my paintings. This is kind of a new thing. It's only been like 2 or 3 paintings I've been using all these same pinks and turquoises and cerulean blue, and so I'm not too sure how they have a tendency to cover, or do you have to put 2 coats? So anyways, that looks pretty good right there. I think now all we have to do kind of is find the right size paintbrush. So let me bring up camera number 1 again. And we're going to go in that upper left-hand corner again. I'm going to move the camera to the side so I'm not in front of the lens. I can avoid that, I'd like to. There, that looks pretty good. So, let's find the right paintbrush. Because if I find the right paintbrush and I have the right texture on my paint and I'm in a comfortable position, it should be just pure pleasure. So, this looks like it could be the right brush. I am going to check out the others though, or this one could be the right brush. And here's that pencil I was looking for yesterday, which should be over there in its place. So which of these 2 brushes? I think maybe this one. Let's try this one first. If it doesn't do the job, well, we'll just switch over, right? So, let that soak for a few seconds. Get the excess water out so it doesn't drip all over the painting. And I'm just going to step back. Well, I might as well look at the computer, make sure I didn't forget to turn on the microphone, and that it's streaming pretty nicely at 4,000 kilobytes per second, which is what we usually do, 30 frames per second. And everything is going pretty well. Okay, so that's a relief. Now we can just concentrate on our spermatozoa. So let's go to camera number 1. Yeah, this is going to have to take 2 coats. It doesn't cover that well. No big deal. After all, we're not racing for any special reason or any deadline, so there we go. And let's stay with the top over here. So if I screw up a little bit, it's no big deal because this is just the first coat. And then there's going to be the shadowing on top of that. So if it's not quite perfect right now, it will be by the time it's done. There we go. Let's get those 2 out of the way. Hop on to number 3 over here. I'll zoom in a little bit more. Hopefully that will get the glare of the overhead light bulb. There we go. Very good. So let's zoom out a little bit and might as well head on right down since we're right here. Very good. There we go. No reason to be too fussy. There we go. So let's come over to the left-hand side and do this as well. Okay, very good. Let's zoom in down on that corner. And for that, I will just grab my chair for a second. There we go. All right. Et voilà, très bien, très bien. Now this is, I'm not really in the most comfortable position, So I'm going to have to be extra careful not to screw up. And that will do it for there. There we go. Very good. Et voilà. So, got that done. Let's get this back here and take a look at our painting and see where we're at. Okay, very good. So as I was looking at this painting yesterday, I realized that with these circles here, the black circles, I'm not totally satisfied with that. I want to add a little bit of details in that to make it a little bit richer. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to get a mini paintbrush and make a little bit of light gray paint. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do our little sperms. So let's get this first. A little bit of white paint. Again, I think when y'all add everything up, it won't be more than 2 square inches worth of painting. It's going to be so discreet, nobody is really going to notice it but myself. But that's the only person I really have to please, is myself. So that's why I'm doing it. It's going to add maybe a day's more work to the painting, but what's the rush? It's the final product that counts. So, then I just put my knife there. What the heck did I just do? Where is that sucker? Oh, it's right here. Okay, I'm going blind, going blind. There we go, just a little bit. A little dab will do ya. There we go. And I guess I could use this, the brush that we used earlier to make our turquoise. I guess I could use the same brush to make our gray paint. Not going to be very difficult, and I don't need that much, so I'm going to do this very quickly. There, that looks pretty good. Not too dark, not too light. There. So, now, like I said, this is going to be really tiny, really small. Now, that's the way it goes. So let's bring this up, and I'll zoom in a lot. And even though this is the tiniest little brush in the world, it's a 0, size 0. It might still be a little too big. We'll see. So let me just come back here and zoom in a little bit on this hourglass. And we're going to start off right in here. Just like that. All right. And I am going to add a little bit of white in the middle of that, that's for sure. And let me bring this down way over here as well. Might as well do a major half moon zoom. Well, it's great to zoom, but if I don't change cameras, it doesn't help at all, right? So, there we go. All right, just like that. Get rid of that excess water on this brush. I'll grab that teeniest brush that I had earlier, and we're going to just add our little white star in between. So, let me bring this up like that. Just like that. And I'll zoom in even more on this next one up here. Just like that. And we're going to go all the way around and doing the same thing. And tomorrow we'll add the little darker gray shadowing to these sperms, make it look nicer. And I did forget one right up here. Come on, there you go, baby. There we go. So, what do we have now? I have a feeling we are done for the day. Until the paint dries, until I pull out my fan, I guess this will do it. Except that I wanted to do the same thing on the bottom here, of course. So, let's pull out the chair. Let's bring in the cameras. And let's tackle this bottom baby right now. So we had two brushes. There we go. Let's get the first one for the sperms. And then we'll do the second one for the little stars afterwards. There we go. It's pretty simple, pretty easy to do. Just like that. And let's go down to the lower part. Should I do a major zoom again? Why not? Let's do that. Right in this area right here. How about right in there? Hopefully I'm in the right spot. There we go. And now I can zoom out just to finish off this guy. I might as well do this one first. There we go. Now I doubt I'll have to put two coats on this. There we go. And might as well grab the other brush and let's add on our little stars. Right there. about a close-up, real close-up on this baby right there? Even a little more. How about like that? A real close-up. There we go. And now I can zoom out just to do the rest of these guys. And I hope you agree with me that this adds really, it looks so much better than just having that black outline, which on some paintings looks okay, and sometimes it doesn't. Here it didn't. I don't think so, at least. It needed a little something extra. All right, so now let's step back and see if we're satisfied with all that. Let me pull this baby back here as well. So all that, and I forgot to switch cameras, even though I did some close-ups. Typical, typical, typical. But anyways. So, let me step back and take a look. Definitely, 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 that's what it needed. Definitely, that's what it needed on these circles. I am so happy I realized that. So, as you can see, there's our canvas view from camera number 2. And then from camera number 1. And believe it or not, all this took just about 45 minutes. So it was a very quick, very short day. And tomorrow we'll probably have to add a second coat of this turquoise green before we can add the shadowing. Maybe I can whip out the fan and have that help to dry faster. We'll figure all that out tomorrow. In the meantime, what I want to do is thank you for joining me. I hope you'll join me tomorrow morning as well, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 3:30 if you're living in France, or 7:30 if you're living in Mumbai, whatever. It's the World Wide Web, right? So anyways, my friends, I'm going to leave you with 2 things like usual, my schedule, and by saying, ciao mes amis.